Good afternoon, folks. Today, my project is to switch out my Louisville Chair Company dinette set. It's a 4-seater with a leaf that creates a 6-seater. This is a laminate table with 4 pretty well-maintained chairs, which I'm very happy with. I like this set. I would have liked a little bit more pop of color, but I like the tones of this set, and I'll show you all the details. What I specifically wanted to highlight in this video is the construction of the table and the chairs. Simple design, quality materials that have stood the test of time because folks have been careful, have paid attention to these chairs and table, and after 50 some years, they still look really, really good. So this chair here, with its original vinyl, has kind of like a brownish, dark brown, and some almost like a metallic vinyl with little bit of peach color, orange, very 70s, that very autumn style that was going on. The chairs are in really good condition. While I was underneath the table at the staple, I'm gonna have to shoot another staple in there. These here, I noticed, go in and out. So it's very possible that you could have these replaced. Or, when they were manufacturing them, if somebody said, hey, I want a different back or something, they could do that. Because I think the metal frame probably fit multiple chairs, okay? Which would have saved costs, and it would have sped up manufacturing, reducing the cost for the consumer in the long run. So I like, one of the things that I always try to find on these retro vintage chairs or most furniture is a really good foot. And I like these. These, I believe, are nylon. It's like a plastic. It's nylon. And so these are good on all sorts of floors. Back in the 60s and 70s, there would have been a lot of linoleum floors, especially in, mid-range or lower range homes. And this is a budget dinette at that time. This probably cost, what, 99, 100 bucks or so. You make 6 payments or a year's payments on this, and you have a dinette set that's going to last 8-10 years in your home. And so I like these little feet here because they have they don't damage the floor. Yeah, this is nylon. This is nylon for sure. So let's get a little close up on these things here. You're gonna see my home and this and that. I didn't really prepare for this video. I just got excited and said it's time to change this table out. Okay, so one of the things that I really like about this table, this is a laminate top table. It looks like wood on the front, on the top, on the surface. I've already flipped it over, and I'll flip it over probably toward the end so you could see it. But what I was really focusing when I first bought this chair, I got this chair, this table, this set at Restore here in Rockford, Illinois, Habitat for Humanity, and I asked the guys at Restore to remove the legs so it would fit in the vehicle, and they took like 50 bolts out of here, nuts and screws. They took every single one of these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 40 screws they pulled out of this thing. And so that was a lot of work to put it back in, put it back together on my own. I mean, it's, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. But, so I started looking at this design. I actually, when it was still up, this table was still up, I laid on the floor on my back and was looking up at it. And got a different view. But even when I was assembling, I started thinking, this here, these look like slides, like it slides. Like if I put pressure on this here, this would slide that way, okay? It's very interesting. So I'm thinking we might be able to avoid removing 6 screws or 24 screws, okay? And so what screws would we actually remove to make taking the legs off a lot easier, a lot faster, more efficient? So I'm thinking this screw here, if we take this screw here out, this may, not too much though, because these are holding this in place here, may give me just enough room to clear this little lip right here. If I can clear that, bring this up a little bit and clear this, no, that ain't gonna work either, because when I push that forward, it's gonna run right into that. But maybe if I just take 5 screws out, 2, 4, 5, remove this piece and kick this piece out, then this plate stays in place there. And so I basically cut the job down by 50% because I'm not going to be removing this. This is pretty tight in there. So I don't want to beat this. I don't want to hammer this and damage it, okay? So I'd probably use a block of wood, you know, maybe even wrapped in a little cloth or something. But this plastic part here, once this comes out, this slides up and down. This is just a cover to give it some architectural detail. You know, during the 60s and 70s, primarily during the 60s, they were doing a lot of Star Trek, you know, age of exploration, aerospace type of, or adding those types of elements to design and stuff like that. And so these kind of give it more of a robust, fluted accent here. See how nice and tapered this is with these nice little cute little sexy legs. You get down to her hips right here. Would be basically her hip right there. Yeah, bam. Okay, so anyways, I'm a single guy. I get excited. Other thing, this slide here for the leaf slides really nicely. It's got these little plastic locking mechanisms there. They're not true locking, I mean, because they just slide open. I'm doing this one-handed. Let me put this on pause. Okay, so I'm going to use my foot on one base of the leg and hand on the other leg. But you can see how easy this slides in and out. Okay. So there's no levers, no locks, or anything like that. They're just basically little compression. I wouldn't really call them locks, but you know, they keep the table together. I guess you could call it locks. And they're plastic. They might be nylon too, actually. But they work really well, and the seam on the surface of the table, it's noticeable. I mean, you're going to see a seam, okay? It's not a $5,000 table where it looks seamless. But these things work. And so this is an economy dinette table that was manufactured and sold by the Louisville Chair Company. I would say this is probably late 60s. It could be mid 60s. Could even be early 70s. But yeah, I would say late 60s. What do you think, folks? I just looked at some ads online, and I did find a 1965 ad with a table very similar to this. The only difference was that these legs were a little bit curved, so they looked more curved than straight, you know. And that was actually really nice design, really nice design. And the table looked very similar. However, what I noticed on the couple of ads that I saw is that they didn't have this bulkier edge, which gives it its thickness. Now this is probably close to 2 inches thick here. Maybe 1 5/8, 1 3/4 or so here. But this gives it a nice, more robust look. And the ads that I saw, the tables were probably I would say at least a half an inch thinner here. They didn't have as wide or deep of an edge on them. So, okay, folks, let's flip this over. We'll take a quick look at the top, and then that'll be the end of the video. Okay, I won't flip the whole thing over, okay? It is pretty heavy. This is a particle board, material here, and that's heavy. That's actually probably heavier than real wood, probably because, you know, it's more dense. It's less air in it, is my guess. But so here you get a different angle of the legs. This seam, all the seams on the laminate are really tight. None of them are lifting up, and that's good construction. That is really good adhesive. They pressed it well. You know, there's no damage to the surface. You can see the surface here. It has kind of like a weathered, I wouldn't say oak, but, you know, definitely an aged wood look. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, you know, it's definitely not your 80s look. And it's definitely not the walnut finish that you see on a lot of mid-century modern or 70s, 60s and 70s laminate tabletops, you know, furniture surfaces. So it's, when I saw this, I was like, wow, that's not my taste. But then it kind of grew on me. And then I looked at the legs and I inspected the chairs and I said, yeah, this would really work in my brown kitchen. I have brown tile. You know, this is almost 20 years old, this tile. And, you know, I don't have an expensive home. And I said, this is going to look kind of cool in my 70s, you know, home here. I have a retro Airbnb. But now I'm changing it out. And the reason I'm changing this table out, this table is really good if you can get around the whole table and you can sit 4 people. And when you have the leaf in there, it's 6. It's a nice 6-seater. So it's really good for a family, you know, or people that like to have, you know, a little more social events. But because it's an Airbnb and I live here also, and my guests are primarily 1 guest at a time or 2, they sleep, shower, and hit the road. I don't really need a big table like this, you know, and I like to have more space around my kitchen. So now I'm kind of deviating from the original video here, but, you know, maybe this will help you too. So I'm looking to sell this table, and I've listed it. I'm going to sell it for $200. That's my goal, $200. I think it's well worth the money. I think it's in really good condition. I think the construction and the manufacturing of this is quite impeccable, actually. You know, look at the details. That's laminate, folks. What do you think? $200 for this set. 4 chairs that are in excellent condition for their age. $200. Come on, folks. All right. That's my video. Louisville Chair Company, Incorporated, Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, this has a name too. Hold on a second. Let me get the name of this dinette set. All right, folks. I'm going to add it in the description, so that way you can look up these dinette sets a little bit better. Okay. Have a great day, folks. Thank you.